Okay, we're going to start with the glass we need. We're going to use the Bullseye 1101 3mm glass, as you see here. That will be our base, and then on top of that we're going to put some colored glass, and we've selected just a number of different colors. The first color here is a 112250. This is Bullseye thin glass. And then this is a 133250, which is also a thin glass. And then we're going to put a blue, which is an 111650. And then we're going to have one more blue, which is a little lighter in color, which is a 141650. And these are the colored glasses we're going to use. Now what's important is that we make sure we have enough glass to cover the clear glass. We're going to break this glass up into pieces and put it on the clear. Then we're going to put some dams around the edge of the glass and fill some frit in between the cracks, and then we'll be ready to go. So we'll see how that works next. Alright, we're going to use some ceramic dams and add some thin fiber paper to it. And the best way to do that is to use some Elmer's glue, and because it'll burn off in the kiln. So we want to put a little glue onto the side that's going to be on the paper. The bottom also, we're going to have the paper wrap around from the bottom up on the side. So we're going to put a little glue on both of those edges and wipe it in with our finger till it gets fairly smooth and doesn't have too much glue thickness onto it. And then we're going to set it onto the paper in the middle, leave some over the end because we're going to use that, and push it down, and then just roll it over and sort of hold it there. It'll tend to want to come off while it's just freshly wet, but it'll seal up, and as we cut the ends it'll stick on there a little bit better. So we're going to take the scissors and cut the paper on the end just to separate it. Our goal here is to have 2 strips of paper that we can fold over the ends, so that the ends are also covered just to be safe. I like to make sure the dams are well covered so there isn't any glass grabs hold of the dam, because if it does, it's going to stick to the ceramic, and then you're going to have a mess and you're going to ruin what you're working on. So put a little glue on the end and fold the paper over. We'll do the same with the other end. And I'll go ahead and finish off all of these so that we're ready to go, and you have the idea how to do this now. So we'll go ahead and get ready for the next step. You need to break the thin glass into some shards, so get a piece of paper towel and put one piece at a time, put the glass in there. Get a mallet, smash down once onto the paper towel. That'll keep the glass inside, and you should get a bunch of shards, and you want to do that with each of the 4 different colors. Now we're ready to add the glass pieces onto the clear base. I have some glass pieces over there. We're going to put a drop of Elmer's glue on them because we want these pieces to stick to the glass. Since we're going to be filling in with some frit in between the glass, almost like a grouting project, we need to make sure the glass is going to stay there. We try to brush it or pull a paper across it to move the frit around. We don't want the glass to move around, so a little drop of glue on each piece of glass will keep it in place. It doesn't take a lot, just one little drop. That's all it takes. And then just drop it on your glass and tap it down and make sure that it's sitting on the glass firm. It'll take a while to dry, so try not to slide it around any more than you have to. And do that with each piece of glass as you build up glass onto the clear base. Now you can see why we would need the dams, because we tried to put frit on here and smooth it off. We didn't have anything on the edge, especially when we go to a full fuse. It may just move out a little bit, even though this thickness is going to be almost a 1/4 inch. We wanted to make sure so that it doesn't do that. So I'm going to finish up this, and then we'll show you when we have it done, and we'll be ready to go on to the next step. Well, the dams have dried with the paper on them, so now it's time to place them around the clear glass. We've given time for the pieces to stick to the clear glass, the colored pieces that we put on. So once we place the dams on there, then our next step is going to be putting the frit in there. And because we glued the pieces, we should be able to move the frit around without having it shift the place for the pieces. So we're going to use a powder blue frit, and we'll put it on with a spoon, and we'll show you how we do that next and how we smooth that out and clean it up and get it ready. Alright, I've used a spoon to fill it up with frit. I'm filling in a few extra spaces here. You don't have to be too careful about worrying about whether you get it on the glass. What you're trying to do is make sure that the level is about the same level as the glass. What we're going to do is when we get the frit on here, we're going to take a piece of paper, and almost like grouting, we're going to pull it across lightly, just very lightly across the glass, pulling the frit so the frit actually fills into the cracks. After we've done that a few times and lifted off any excess glass, things like that, we can begin to blow a little bit onto the glass and get some of the excess off. Take a brush if you wish to use, or use your finger. Just a matter of working on it to get it to the way you like. So we're going to continue doing that, and then we're going to take a look at what it looks like when we're finished, ready to go into the kiln. Alright, we have the glass fairly well cleaned off, and the frit level in between the glass. Looks like a grout job, as I said. There's still a little bit of frit on a piece of glass here and there, but we're going to lift this carefully into the kiln, and then as the last step we'll just brush those last bits of glass off. The kiln schedule is for a full fuse. You can come back and copy it later, but we go at a rate of 300 degrees to 900 and hold for 15, 500 degrees to 1100 with no hold, 100 degrees to 1250 with a hold for 30, as fast as possible to 1500 we hold 10, as fast as possible to 960 hold 120, 100 degrees to 700 with no hold, and finally 300 degrees to 100 with no hold. First thing we noticed when we took the glass out of the kiln that it actually shrank a little bit, which means we didn't have it a 1/4 inch thick. I would add another 3mm piece of clear glass to cover that. On the corner here we can see where a bit of it went through the dams and leaked out. You can see the edges are a little bit wavy as it pulled in. So we'll cold work this piece and grind it flat on the sides and then make us a bowl out of it. The colors are still nice and the glass is very usable. So we'll show you how we do that next. What we're going to do now is use a regular grinder to try and get the edges just as straight as we can. So we'll knock off that little bit of glass that was on the end there, and we'll try to grind down the high spots, straightening the edges as straight as we can get them. You can't get them perfectly straight, but we can get them straight enough to make a decent looking dish. Make sure you have enough water on the grinding head to give a good cut. Run it back and forth fairly quickly. Helps to get a flat edge. Here you see when you look at it what the edge looks like. It's coming along pretty well now. When we're finished with the grinding, we should have a piece that looks fairly good, like this. Has four fairly straight edges on each side, and once you've got to that point, you've got it all squared up, you're ready to put it in and do a little slumping and see if we can make a dish out of it. So we'll do that next. You can come back and copy this slumping schedule a little bit later. Just stop the video and write down it if you need it. It's fairly straightforward. We put it in the kiln, and this is what it looks like just before we take it out of the kiln. We can see it here in the kiln, and it looks like it slumped fairly well. We used a bullseye square mold to slump it in. It was a little less than the size of the full mold, but that's fine. And here's the final dish and what it looks like after we took it out of the kiln. So it turned out to be a pretty nice project. It's a nice dish to have around, and the technique of using frit that way is a handy one to keep in mind. Hope you enjoyed the video. This project was produced by A&A Products. All copyrights are owned by A&A Products. And you can go to anaproducts.com to find any of the glass that was used in this project or the molds.